Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday the 17th of March, 2025. I am Graham Hughes. You're watching Morning Brew on Politics Social. Big shout out to everyone in the chat. We've got Veg Pie in there. We've got Leapshin. We've got Billy Kershaw. We've got Martin Harrow. We've got Scott as well. We've got Simon M. Francis is in there as well as Pygmalion, Hayhan, and Unquiet Badger. If you would like to join these wonderful, beautiful people in the chat, all you need to do is press the subscribe button and wait for a minute and you'll be able to join them. Don't be a troll. We'll kick you off. Okay, so lots to talk about today. Oh my God. So it's gone beyond just appeasing Putin. It's gone beyond just chuckling his balls as Trump is now actively working to divide up Ukraine as if it was his to give away. I can't understate the kind of the magnitude of the situation right now. And I know that's not the right term to use in this situation, but I don't care, right? You got to understand that this is so wrong on so many levels. Europe is not the Americans' right to give away. Okay, we are not the property of America. We are not a colony of America. If anything, America was our colony. It was our colony, and it's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. We sent off all the Puritans over there that didn't believe in theatres or sex, and then we sent off the people we didn't really want. You know, all the people who wanted to be pirates. Go over there and be pirates. You know, you want to have slaves, do you? Well, go over there and have slaves. All right, we don't. You just go over, just piss off all these horrible, horrible people. Anyway, those horrible, horrible people from 200, 300 years ago, they bred and bred and bred, and they birthed what is now America today, where 77.3 million of these fuckers think that they are in charge of us in Europe, right? And this is Europe's moment to tell them, tell America, tell Trump and all those fucking fruitcakes who voted for that fucker to fuck off. Sorry, I've just demonetized the show, but I don't care. I am absolutely raging this morning. How dare that tangerine bastard come over to Europe and say, oh yes, we're going to divide it up between me and my friend Vladimir, who obviously, listen, it's not a PP tape, okay? What Vladimir Putin has on Trump is way worse than that. And if you can imagine what could be worse than that in terms of this would turn everyone against Trump, it's got to be really, really bad. Like, beyond what he could possibly explain away. Bad, okay? That's what Trump has done, and that's what Vladimir Putin clearly has evidence of him doing. It's not being pissed on by a prostitute. It's something much more horrific than that. It's the kind of thing that starts riots around the world. It's the kind of thing that leads to massacres because of this one person who did that horrible thing. That's the level we're talking about. This is a stab in the back, not just of Europe, but of every Ukrainian citizen, every Ukrainian soldier who's fighting to their country. It's a stab in the back for NATO and to everyone who supported Ukraine's fight to get rid of the Russian invaders, the Asian invaders into Europe, the barbarian hordes coming from the east to destroy our continent, to rape our women, to kidnap our children. Yeah, I know it's not great to get all nationalist. I know it's not great to be all like, patriotic for your country or whatever, but I'm talking about our continent here. And I'm talking about the forces from some other continent, from North America and some other continent, Asia, teaming up to attack us, to murder our women and children. And it is time that Europe stood together and proud and told them to fuck the fuck off. And we could do this. We could totally do this because Russia right now is on its knees. It can't even defeat Ukraine. It's lost half of its Black Sea fleet to a country that has no navy. They can pretend they've got nuclear weapons, but I guarantee that none of them work anymore. And they've got to get in there before Trump and Putin sign anything, sign any kind of deal. While Trump's fucking dickhead supporters still might not be able to stomach the idea of going to war against Europeans. You know, the people that all the fascists want to populate the earth for some reason because we're white. Yay! Not all of us, obviously, clearly, but enough of us. Enough of us. You know, I think given American white supremacists' choice of which continent they would like to, you know, end up on top, I mean, number one would be North America, but after that, where do you want to go, mate? Where do you want to go? But no, they're trying to subjugate the peoples, the free peoples of Europe under this tyranny. Trump has gone from being a Putin sycophant to Putin's... I mean, you can't even call him a poodle anymore. You know, he's Putin's partner in crime. He's made a coalition of the unfathomable... It's disgusting. The coalition of the disgusting. The coalition of barbarians. That's what Trump and Putin represent. And he's while delivering Ukraine on a platter. This is obviously echoes of the Munich Agreement in 1938 when Neville Chamberlain gave away Czechoslovakia, most of it, to Hitler, and then came back and declared peace in our time. It wasn't really Neville Chamberlain's to give away, right? You know what the big problem was there? What the hell did that have to do with Britain? Yeah. So now you've got a country that's even further away from the country in question, and we're giving it away to appease a guy with no fucking working army, a guy who has to rely on mercenaries from North Korea and North Africa and the Middle East to fight on his behalf because all of his soldiers have either died or fucked off. A guy who has to rely on tanks from World War II because the Ukrainians destroyed all their, latest tech ones. So, I mean, Ukraine at the moment on the battlefield, it's struggling to hold Sumy in the east of the country after being forced to retreat from most of the Kursk region, although that's disputed now, due to Russian drone swarms, which have happened because America has withdrawn intelligence from them and overwhelming firepower from the Russians, which up till now was kind of like unfocused. Now it's very, very focused. They know where they know where it's going to land, and also the Ukrainians don't have the defense that they once had because Trump has taken it away. Russian forces continue to attack Ukrainian positions, pushing deeper into Ukrainian territory, and there's a nightmare scenario unfolding, which is Russia cutting off critical supply routes, isolating Ukrainian defenders, and this so-called ceasefire negotiation. It's just a trap. Putin's never been interested in ceasefires. He'll only go for one so he can build up his armaments more. And he's just stalling to consolidate his gains. His latest move, he's not rejected the ceasefire outright, but dragging out the conditions to gain time and wear down Ukraine. It's clear what he's doing. It's, I'm not a military historian. I'm not a fucking, a military analyst or whatever. I was never in the army or whatever. I'm just a bod. I'm just a bod on the internet going, oh, well, this is fucking clear, isn't it? It's like asking me what fucking colour the sky is. It's like, it's blue, innit? Unless it's nighttime, I guess. And then it's not the sky. Is it the sky? Is it the same sky? Because you're seeing this light from... Anyway, so the so-called ceasefire negotiations are a trap. And Putin is obviously stalling to consolidate the gains he's moved and gains he's made. And Trump's response to this is... We'll be talking about land and power plants. That's what he said. Land and power plants. Which is Trump outright admitting he's negotiating giving away Ukrainian territory. Ukrainian territory that is not his to give away. It's not mine to give away. It's not the rest of Europe's to give away. It's Ukraine's decision. And Ukraine does not want to give that stuff away. It's their land. It's their country. It's their friends and neighbours. It's their children. What, do they want to give their children, all 19,000 of them, up to Vladimir Putin and his team of paedophiles to go and be raised by a bunch of brutal paedophiles that are going to do horrific things to those children? 19,000 of them have been kidnapped by the Russian regime. And yet, you talk to these fucking Yanks. They're so fucking stupid. Is America the fattest country in the world? It's definitely the fattest, isn't it? Like these people who are so stupid and so arrogant by the same measure. I mean, it's impressive how these people get to be so thick. I wonder how many are kicked in the head by a horse and how many were just born that way. But it is remarkable that there are 77.3 million Americans who are like, yeah, let's deport myself. Yeah, let's ban all protests. Yeah, let's take all rights away from women. And gay people. And trans people. Yeah, let's annul gay marriage, they say in America. In some of the states, they're going to annul the gay marriages because the heterosexual marriages weren't going very well. Probably because both of the members of that heterosexual marriage were butt ugly and didn't want to bone. But, you know, it's all the fault of gays because they were having a great time. They were being lesbians, they were being gay, they were being gender non-conformist. Brilliant, bring it on. And they were having a happy life. No, we're going to stop that. What's keeping you up at night, Marjorie? What's keeping you up at night? Oh my God, there's some people, a couple, and they live 7 blocks away from me, and they've got a nice happy marriage. Fucking hell, some people. Anyway, what can happen next? Best case scenario, which is unlikely, which is the Europe pushes back, right? Massive European diplomatic and economic counteroffensive. Strong sanctions, military aid increases, NATO deterrent. I would like to see European troops on the ground in NATO to give the Ukrainians a boost and also to show the Russians what we're made of, because they think we're a pushover. And the reality is that Russia is a paper tiger. It absolutely is a paper tiger. Look, it's lost half of its fleet in the Black Sea. It's lost half of its fleet in the Black Sea to a country that doesn't have a navy. With the technology that Europe can offer at the moment to Ukraine, it could end the war. Like, overnight. There's your peace. There's your peace. Drive the Russians out of Ukraine. There's your peace. Lovely. Trump gets pressured by this could exist. This could happen. Republicans who still care about NATO could pressure Trump. That's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen because the Republicans are in thrall of Trump the same way that Trump is in the thrall of Putin, the butcher of Bucha, the guy whose his henchmen have kidnapped 19,000 children. I mean, if they kidnapped one child, that's one child too many. To be brought up by paedophiles in Russia, in the most miserable, godforsaken country in the world, Russia. I mean, honestly, I would rather live in any other dictatorship in the world, and don't forget I've visited all of them, than Russia. Do you know why? Because at least if you live in Iran, it's kind of warm in the summer, yeah? Fucking Russia, it's freezing cold all through the year. That perma fucking frost in Russia. That's why they're all so fucking miserable, because they're cold all the time. I'd rather live in Venezuela. At least it's warm. Sleep on a fucking park bench. Sleep in a park bench in fucking, what's it called? Moscow. You fucking die. You'll die of hypothermia. That's it. You're gone. You're dead. They're also fucking miserable. It's the worst country in the world. I'd rather live in fucking Somalia. Somalia. At least it's warm. At least it's fucking warm. I'd live in Somaliland. I'd live in the north of the country, where they have their own flag and their own national anthem and their own fucking parliament and their own free and fair elections. Quite a safe place, actually. I'll live there. Thank you. Actually, I'd live in Mogadishu before fucking Moscow. Again, it's warmer. They can sleep on the fucking streets without freezing to death. And yes, I might get, taken out by a gang of rampaging nutters off the back of a Toyota pickup truck, but at least it'll be quick. At least I won't be dragged off to this labor camp in fucking Siberia. Yeah? Mate, anywhere, you name me a place, and I would fucking rather live there than I live in fucking Russia. It is the most godforsaken hellhole on the fucking planet, and they want to spread their nasty little way of thinking. Don't forget, since the days of Peter the Great and Ivan the Terrible and the Romanovs and then the fucking Soviets, Russia has been led by fucking psychopaths who have been happy for people to die left, right, and centre. Think about what that does to the gene pool of a country. Now, think about what it does. It makes it so that unless you're a bloody psychopath, I'm incredibly lucky, you don't get to pass on your genes. So you have an entire nation where, 95% of the population just fucking cold-eyed psychopaths. They give a shit about you. They give a shit about me. They give a shit about the future of the country. They're told to kill by their autocratic leader. Something the only thing they've ever known. To be like, yes, autocratic leader, I will do what you say. I mean, they've tried. They tried in 1917. They had a good 6 months of democracy, or fledgling democracy, before it was knocked out of shape by the bloody Soviets who came along, killed the fucking Romanovs, and, you know, basically ruled the place with an iron fist for 60-odd years. Yeah, that happened. Great. Yeah. And then we had a few years of a drunk man in charge of the country while the oligarchs stripped the country of all of its wealth and took it for themselves. And then Putin came along. Along comes Putin, who said to the oligarchs, you need to lick my boots or I will kill you and your family. Because he's a psychopath. That's what psychopaths do. Putin, who started his political career by crushing the nascent rebellion against Soviet rule, Russian rule, Moscow rule in Chechnya. In Grozny, they were blamed for everything. The Chechens, remember the around the turn of the millennium, yeah. Anything bad that happened in Russia, it was always Chechens this, Chechens that. You heard a lot about that, didn't you? There's also rebellions in Dagestan and other places, but once the country had split into 15 separate pieces, the nutter in Moscow was absolutely terrified of it splitting into any more. So I mean that could have happened actually. Once the invasion of Ukraine went tits up, we should have all got we in the West. This is our mistake. We in Europe should have just gone full in and just gone, fuck these guys. We're going to take you out. How dare you invade someone else's country, and just blown the shit out of them. You know, just flown planes over them, dropped bombs on all their fucking positions. See you later. Well, what are you doing? There's no treaty. I don't give it. There's no treaty. There was a treaty, right, that you knobheads signed, the Hungarian treaty, right, where it said that you weren't allowed to, we were going to respect the borders of Ukraine, including Crimea, right? You signed this in the 1990s, along with the US, along with Europe, right? You signed this deal to say that Ukraine had to give up its nuclear weapons in return for sovereignty and for the integrity of its borders. You've gone back on that, so why should we stick to fucking anything that we've signed? And here's the thing. Trump and Putin will go back on anything they sign. So there's absolutely no point in signing any kind of deal with them. There is no point. The only thing that these fucking gobshites understand is force. And I'm sorry, I'm going to cross as a fucking war hawk here and going, yes, let's fucking smack their asses. But we need to. When did Trump back down over a bit at least with the tariffs and on Canada? He said, oh, we're going to have 50% tariffs. No, he didn't. Then he changed his mind 5 minutes later because they were like, okay, we're going to shut off the power then. Fuck you. He's like, oh shit, we're going to shut off the power. He had Doug Ford in Ontario actually standing up against him. And what did he do? He backed down, as all bullies do. They back down. But you have to represent force. You have to get them over a fucking barrel to make them back down. Because they're not going to do it. They're just going to push and push and push. They're like children who just keep pushing to see where the boundaries are, to see when the parents say, no, that's enough. They just want to find out. They keep going, because kids need boundaries. And people who grow up with the minds of children, like Trump and like Putin, need boundaries set. And Putin's had no one to set any boundaries for many, many years because everyone who's tried has been killed. Trump hasn't had many boundaries for many, many years because every time he gets accused, arrested for committing crimes, he gets away with it because he's so unfathomably rich and powerful. Gary, thank you. I think your F-bombs may have demonetized this morning, something to compensate. Thank you very much, Gary, for the first super chat of the week. I really appreciate it, mate. Keeps the channel going. And obviously, yeah, this is probably going to be demonetized, but I don't care. I'm just going fucking. This is mad. You know, Russia. Hopefully, Europe's going to have to do something. All right, but let's talk about some other scenarios that might come out. I want the scenario where Russia has its arse kicked by Europe in the next week. That's it. This week we send out the bombers. The long-range bombers, we go and bomb all the positions. In Ukraine, we don't bomb Russia. You know, it's not an act of war. We're just bombing Ukraine because Ukraine has asked us to bomb them. Well, to bomb the Russians who are in Ukraine. Well, I say Russians, I mean North Koreans. Let's bomb the North Koreans in Ukraine, okay? They're not from around these parts, right? I don't understand why all the fucking patriot bollocks, the anti-immigration people are up in arms about this, you know. Some people from North Korea invading Europe with guns and tanks and shit. Mad. Alistair, thank you so much for gifting 5 Politics Social memberships. It's really kind of you, Alistair. Now, Urosh is now a member. We've got Wayne in there as a member. We've got Patrick as well. We've got Doc Davis and the Cheese Factor have all been given memberships from Alistair. So thank you very much, Alistair. That's very, very, very kind of you. Nice one, sir. Anyway, so where was I? Putin. So there's the medium. Well, what would you call this? The medium case scenario? I don't know. A frozen conflict. Trump forces Ukraine to accept a ceasefire and effectively cedes the captured territories of the Donbass and Crimea to Russia. Putin locks in his territorial gains and prepares for the next phase of war in a year or two. Ukraine is left crippled without security guarantees, military aid, or NATO prospects. Trump claims victory and uses this deal to boost his 2026 election chances while Putin prepares to strike again. That's a probable scenario that we can absolutely kipper. We can fuck that scenario over so hard by uniting as Europe and Canada and Australia and New Zealand, why not, and Japan, and saying no to Russia, saying no, that's not going to happen because we're going to, you're going to get out. You're going to get out. You've got 24 hours to get all your forces out of Ukraine. That's it. Or we'll just wipe you out. That's it. Super chat, thank you very much. Woo! £10 super chat from Alistair. And Alistair also gifted the Politics Social memberships. Thank you. Rant away, Graham, just like I would too if I had a channel. Oh, thank you. I'm just letting off the steam this morning. Letting off the steam. So the worst case scenario is Ukraine is abandoned and Europe is left in critical danger. Trump cuts off all military aid to Ukraine, leaving them to collapse under Russian pressure. Install their own puppet government. Russia pushes further into Ukraine, possibly eyeing up Odessa and Kyiv. Putin gets bolder and he tests NATO's red lines. Next targets could be Transnistria in Moldova, the Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, and also Georgia, which has already taken a third of the territory in Georgia without a murmur of discontent from other countries around the world, which should have, at that time, got in on behalf of Georgia and told Russia to fuck off. We did it against Iraq, didn't we? When they invaded Kuwait, we said, no, we're not having that. We did it when Serbia invaded Kosovo, and they said it was our country. It's the same line that Russia is taking now. Oh, well, Ukraine, they're us, basically. They're all Russians. And the Ukrainians are like, no, we're fucking not, mate. Behave. Dickheads. But yeah, we went in there, didn't we? We said, no, don't invade someone else's country. Stop invading other people's countries. Don't do that. Don't do that thing. And taking over and then declaring yourself the lord of the fucking manor. It never fucking works. We saw it in Iraq, and the second time we went over there where we tried to actually invade the country and take it over. It was a fucking disaster. We saw it in Afghanistan. 20 years of the fucking Taliban not being a thing, and then Taliban were a thing again. Whoop-de-doo. That was worth spending countless lives and billions of dollars on, wasn't it? For the military-industrial complex. And also, China is waiting and watching this. The West allows Ukraine to fall. Taiwan is next. Simple as that. So what can Europe do? Okay, no more polite negotiations. They need to turn this into a global, first of all, diplomatic firestorm this week. Expose Trump's betrayal at every opportunity. Ramp up pressure on US allies who still care about NATO. So we've got Canada in there. Also countries like Japan, South Korea, Australia, countries that aren't part of NATO but support NATO's aims of reining in these mad imperialistic dictatorships. Then you've got the sort of the economic, not just the economic, but also the military muscle. We need to expand military production fast. Europe cannot rely on the US anymore. We need to stop buying stuff from America because the contracts for like F-35 jets require us to lock in Lockheed Martin to service these fucking things for the rest of eternity. And they just keep ratcheting up the prices of the servicing. What we do if they decide to put it into planned obsolescence, we just wasted all that money on that stuff. So Europe needs to buy its kit from Europe. But we have enough kit right now. We talk about how, the British Army is only 85,000 now or whatever it is. Yeah. Fine, cool, whatever. Doesn't matter, right? Because it's not just us. It's the French. It's the Spanish. It's the Germans. It's the Czech Republic. Hopefully, it's Poland. It's Italy. There's a lot of these armies. You put them all together, and it's a fuckload of people. It is well massively more wealthy and has more money to spend than Russia does, and it's got more person power, okay? So, like, don't worry about that. We need to seize the Russian assets and use them to fund Ukraine's war effort. There's $300 billion of frozen assets. Just get them. We're using the interests on these frozen assets to pay for more aid to Ukraine. I say fucking sell them. Sell them. Just take them, sell them, and use them to fund the Ukrainian resistance against Russia. And then full-on sanctions on Russian energy exports. Yes, even if it hurts us in the short term. And here's the thing, right? Okay, so Russia has Vladivostok in the very, very far east of the country. But then its sort of warm water ports are Kaliningrad, and then you've got the Black Sea, right? Obviously, it's got access now to Crimea and to the base in Sebastopol. So that's Russia's access to those areas. The thing is, they would be really, really easy to blockade. Really fucking easy, because NATO completely surrounds Kaliningrad. Okay, Kaliningrad since Finland has joined and Sweden has joined NATO, and then you've got the 3 Baltic countries, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and then you've got Poland as well. It is completely surrounded by NATO members. A naval blockade on that little port, it's quite easy. Plus, it's cleaved from the rest of Russia. Just completely. I mean, that road that links Belarus, which is effectively annexed by Russia. People don't mention this, but it's basically part of Russia. I think Belarusian people can vote in Russian elections and vice versa, even though those elections don't mean anything, because the leader of Russia has been in power now for 25 years, and the leader of fucking the Belarus has been in charge for 33 years. I think it's 33 years. Yeah, sounds about right. 33 years. So yeah, elections. But the bit between Belarus and Kaliningrad, there's a little corridor that they used to use for transporting goods and services and things like that. That's easy to shut down. That is very, very easy to just. We've already done it. But we need to obviously fortify that militarily, stop them using that, and then you got the Black Sea. The only way out of the Black Sea is through Istanbul, which is a NATO member. Turkey is a NATO member, so fucking yeah, brilliant. Put a fucking gunship just after the Dardanelles. I mean, Turkey doesn't want it. We'll put it into the waters off the coast of Cyprus. I don't give a fuck, and just say, right, okay, anything coming out, we'll blow it up. Sorry, mate, you're not allowed to come this way anymore. Completely cut Russia off. What's it gonna do? What the fuck is it gonna do? Get the Japanese on board. They can fucking put a blockade on Vladivostok on the other end. Brilliant, bring it on. Where you going, Russia? Fucking nowhere. That's where you're going, you gang of twats. And then we've got to think about how we not just ramp up pressure on US allies and also expand military production, seize Russian assets, and full sanctions on Russian energy exports. Just like, I mean, by full sanctions, I mean nothing gets out. Nothing gets out. Vandalize the sabotage any pipelines going out of Russia. Basically, just cause so much fucking mischief. Make their money just run out by tomorrow. And we can do this. We can do this. We can be sneaky fuckers if we want to. And let's not forget, Russia do not want peace. All they want is Ukraine. And they're going to fight and fight and fight. And they're going to, obviously, I think what their plan's going to be is to get this ceasefire put in. They're going to get Trump to say Russia gets to keep all of that land that they've taken, and then America will demand some more land off Ukraine in return for the military support that it's given, because instead of it being a thing that you do for countries to stop them being invaded by hostile foreign powers, because that's the right thing to do, they're going to say, oh, no, this is a transactional thing. It's a quid pro quo. So the money that Biden acquired when he was in as president to give to not acquired is the wrong word, but earmarked for going to Ukraine. And that wasn't just to stop the menace coming from the east. No. That was to that was a quid pro quo. That was so we could gain access to their military plants, their power plants, their land. We want that. No. It's not the way it's supposed to work. So we need to make it very, very clear that that's not going to happen. But if it does, what will happen is you'll have a year or so of the ceasefire, in which time America will be giving loads of its taxpayers' money to, the taxpayers who are living on the streets, who have no Medicare and no Medicaid, dying of easily preventable diseases. The children are going to be dying of measles. This is the future that the Conservatives want in America, because they're fucking sick motherfuckers in the fucking head. They are twisted little psychopaths. I can't do anything for them. I'm not going to try and get them on side. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to be like, oh, Diddums, you made a little mistake. No, I say, fuck you, you dickhead. You made a mistake, right? Making a mistake is like putting the fucking pan in the wrong fucking, cupboard. No. This is like saying, oh, I murdered a bunch of people, but it was just a silly mistake. No, it wasn't. You have blood on your hands. If you voted for Trump, if you support Trump, whether you can vote or not, you have blood on your hands, and you always will for the rest of your fucking life. And you will be like Lady Macbeth trying to wipe off that fucking blood from your hands, but it's never gonna come out because you are stained for life now. And we all know who you are because you post it all over social media like a fucking dickhead. And the thing is, with fascism, it always falls. And when it falls, there will be retribution. There will be revenge. There will be avenging, which is slightly different from revenge. I don't know how, but there you go. But yeah, Trump will make sure that in this scenario, where there's this frozen conflict, Trump and Cambridge Analytica and Twitter and Facebook and obviously Putin, the Kremlin, the KGB, or whatever they're calling themselves, and now for the flying spaghetti bollocks, they will ensure that when Ukraine has an election, Zelensky's out and some Russian puppet is put in. At which point, Putin will go, right, I've won. Okay, I'm done now. I've taken my bit of Donbass. I've got the Ukraine that I wanted. And you think, okay, well, maybe that'll be the end. Maybe we'll have peace in our time. But we won't, because like I said, he's got Crimea, right? And that's right next to Kherson, right? And Kherson is Ukrainian at the moment. They took it back. And what he wants to do is take Kherson and then keep going along the coast to Odessa and separate Ukraine from the water, so it can't get any good dinner out without Russian taking a kickback, because they're gangsters. They want some protection money, and they're going to go into Moldova. And maybe even Romania, where they're trying to cause up shit. People going, why is Romania in the news? It's like, well, because Russia is interfering in their politics there. They're trying to get their Russian-loving, Trump-loving gobshites to be the leader of the country, to make it easier to facilitate their future takeover of Romania as well. And Romania will pull out the EU, and it will pull out of NATO, and it will say, yeah, we're gonna join up with the Soviets again, because those days were great, weren't they? Oh, bring back Ceausescu. Dig him up. Dig up that motherfucker that you shot dead on Christmas Day. Yeah, let's have that again. We want that dictatorship. We want some horrible gobshite to build a massive fucking palace while the people are fucking starving. Bring it on. Gunny, thank you very much for the £2 super chat from ages ago. Sorry I didn't acknowledge it earlier. The Polish are choking for a fight with Russia. Yes, I think they are. So NATO needs to speed up the integration of Ukraine into NATO. We should do it, but do it before Trump can stop it. Quite simply, deploy more NATO forces to Eastern Europe, send a clear message to Putin, and we need a European-led security pact, which hopefully is going to come out this week. The US is it says if the US falters, but no, the US has already faltered. Fuck it, it's not a trustworthy ally anymore. When someone who's a friend just fucks you off just too many times, and there's a point in your life where you're like, okay, you've stolen me wife, you've burnt down me house, you've murdered my children. I think there's a point where I think we can't be friends anymore. There's a feeling we can't be friends anymore, America. Tough shit. And you know what? I think they deserve it now. I'm just beyond caring. I used to think, oh, well, what about the people who didn't vote for Trump? Yeah, you mean the Democrats? Okay, they're doing a great job. There's 1 million people out on the streets of fucking Bucharest in Romania fighting against their, the Russian interference there. Where are the people in America? Where are the massive movements? People keep sending me videos of like 3 people with a sign outside a Tesla dealership, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, wow. Whew. That'll show them. You wear fucking pink socks to go to a fucking debate and go, I'm wearing pink socks. That'll show them. They voted fucking with the Republicans to put forward a bill that would allow Trump to continue to gut the government in order to save the government. Are they fucking mad? Do you know, like, it's just... Gotta say, stark parallels with Labour fucking up after the Brexit referendum, in which they, instead of fighting the Tories tooth and nail against the thing that would take away the rights for millions, all of the children who aren't born incredibly rich in this country, the 99% of us, and also make the poorest people in this country even poorer, and it would double the cost of living, double your energy prices, double the price of beer, double the price of housing, double the price of fucking everything that you need. I mean, the luxuries are still say cheap because they are these days, you know, TVs and things and toasters. But the actual things we need to stay alive, the building blocks of our lives, have got more expensive and more out of reach for the younger generation. And Labour went along with it. Labour did a free fucking line whip to vote with the Conservatives for a devastating flagship policy of the Tories that they knew would restrict workers' rights, that they knew would absolutely destroy any hopes or dreams of working class people ever achieving anything other than making money for already rich people while they fucking, you know, live in fear. That's what Jeff Bezos wants for his Amazon workers. He wants them to live in fear. He wants slaves, essentially. And we live in a world, we live in a society where you can work every fucking hour of the day. You work an 8-hour job, all right? You work an 8-hour job in the 9 to 5, right? You work then 6 days a week, and there's still not enough money to cover the rent and to cover the cost of heating your home, the internet, the water bills, the council tax. Not enough, so you have to take another job. When there's two of you working together in the same household, it's still not enough. That's the fucking fucked up situation we are in at the moment. And just like with Labour, in this country, the Democrats are going, oh, well, what can we do? You know what? People will wake up sooner or later and go, oh, this is bad. Will they? Do you know a single fucking Brexit voter who genuinely regrets their vote? I don't. They blame the fact that Brexit didn't work, not on the fact that Brexit was a terrible idea to start with. No, it just wasn't done properly. You know, it just wasn't executed properly. It's just these people buy fucking perpetual motion machines because they think it's a good idea. Probably. Anyway, so Europe cannot afford another 1938. This isn't just about Ukraine. This is about Europe's survival, our continent's survival. We are all in this, being pincered in by the fucking fat Yanks on one side and the fucking skinny Russians because they've got no food on the other side. That's where we are. It's a bunch of psychopaths, a bunch of skinny psychopaths and a bunch of fat psychopaths, and we're fucking stuck in the middle. Coming for us. And we need to be clear-eyed about this and tell them to fuck the fuck off. Like, seriously, fuck the fuck off, America. You know, we're done with you. And if that means that we have to boycott every single American fucking goods, services, whatever, let's fucking do it. Let's do it bit by bit. Let's have a European version of YouTube. I will join fucking tomorrow. We'll all shift over to YouTube, Eurotube. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to shift over to a European version of Facebook that doesn't sell our data to the Chinese. We're going to shift over to a European version of Twitter, a European version of the internet. I'm going to use European GPS satellites. You know our streaming stuff, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon. Yeah. Okay. Here's a secret. Come close. You can get all that content online. Anyway, Alistair Kerm, thank you very much. Graham, is the chat all comments on all comments on the sidebar? No. It's on top chat. It's on top chat, like top cat. But thank you very much for the super chat about the chat in the super chat. But the top cat, close friends get to call in TC as long as it's with dignity. So yes, if Ukraine falls, Putin will push further and further, and NATO's credibility will collapse. Europe has to unite, it has to mobilize, and it has to stand firm against this threat now. Trump's cowardice and betrayal cannot dictate the future of our continent, the future for our children and our grandchildren. Trump may be happy to carve up Ukraine, but Europe sure as hell shouldn't let him. Stand up, fight back, and tell Trump and Putin to go fuck themselves to unalivement forever. That's what I say. Oh, I'm loving the trend on TikTok at the moment. When it happens. What are you going to do when it happens? I've talked about this a lot. You know exactly what I'm referring to. I'm going to have such a party. People have said they're going to have a cookout. They're going to have a barbecue. They're going to dance in the street. There's going to be fireworks. They're going to mark that day every day for the rest of their lives. They're going to have a party on that particular day of the year when it happens. God. And it can't, as the sisters once sang, it can't come quickly enough. It really fucking can't. There you go, chat. That's why some comments don't appear. Oh yeah, there's top chat and then there's live chat. You can switch between the two. Live chat brings up all messages pretty much, unless there's something racist in there or something. And then you got top chat, which is what comes up here, because if something really, really bad comes up on the screen here, then it will might demonetize my entire channel. So we can't allow that to happen. So there is some sort of moderation in this. And for those who say, well, we don't have freedom of speech anymore. Why can't I write what I like on Graham's channel? It's my fucking channel, mate. My channel, my fucking rules. You can't come into my pub and read off a screen about how much of a dick I am. In the same way, I can't go into your living room uninvited and read in front of your friends and family how tiny your dick is. Like, I'm just not allowed to do that. Well, I am, to a certain extent, if you let me. But if you don't want me in your living room talking to all your friends and family about how tiny your dick is, you're within your right to tell me to leave. And if I go, oh, but what about my freedom of speech? You can tell me to fuck off, because that's the law. Anyway, freedom of speech doesn't really exist in the UK anyway. You're allowed to say things that there's no law against. Okay, you're not allowed to say certain things that are objectionable for various reasons. You're not allowed to shout fire in a crowded theatre, for instance. And even in America, freedom of speech doesn't cover private enterprise. You can say what you're supposed to be able to say what you like on Twitter or Facebook, but no, they're private enterprise. It's the same as going into someone's pub and reading off a screen about how much of a dick the landlady is. You're not allowed to do it, right? Well, you can, but if the landlady tells you to fuck off and get out the pub and you're barred for life, then don't be surprised, because it's their private property. What the US Constitution says is that the government cannot suppress free speech, but of course it can, because the the Constitution in American can be interpreted in any fucking way that they want to interpret it. Tim Bannon, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. Have you seen the Mark Rober video about Tesla cars and a brick wall? You can literally do a road runner to them. No, that's quite hilarious though. I don't want people who are driving them to necessarily crash them. I'd rather they just got rid of them and didn't ban them in the first place. But yeah, so there's the freedom of speech thing drives you up the wall, because it's like, oh no, don't worry, the Constitution protects my freedom of speech. And it's like, yeah, the Constitution protects you from not being killed by the government for a few years, and they changed their minds on it, you know? The Constitution protected you from the state stopping you from having an abortion, but then they changed their mind on it, you know? It's like the Ten Commandments, darling. Thou shalt not kill. How's that been interpreted over the centuries, eh? Hey, how's that been interpreted? Has it stopped Christians from killing people? Has it? Fuck. In fact, if anything, it's encouraged them to kill more and more again. You recommend see, I'm going to start a channel, I think. I love talking and ranting about the world. Martin says, I had 996. It felt like it wanted to kill me at times. It was stolen and replaced with a 748. Exactly the same bike, normal but smaller engine. Really fun to ride. I love it when people are just having random conversations in the chat. Nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But I'm just assuming you're all agreeing, because there's no one calling me a whatever. The freedom of speech. I just want to address this, right? Freedom of speech, right? Here's me, right? Graham Hughes, Liverpool, England. You can look me up on Google, right? You know, our Wikipedia page, okay? So it's not like I'm nobby nobody. I'm not an anonymous face on the internet, okay? The Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, He's a right cunt. The King of England, King Charles III, he's a right sausage-fingered cunt. Am I getting arrested? Have the police come to take me away? Oh, hello. So what? I'm allowed to call the Prime Minister and the head of our state. I see you next Tuesday and I don't get arrested. I thought you weren't allowed to say anything anymore. I've just said it. I just said it out loud on the internet. So there's 200 people watching this. Don't hear any sirens outside. Sure, I'll be here tomorrow morning, spouting out more shit. Do you know what you're not allowed to say? You're not allowed to say to someone horrible and rich like Nigel Farage, the privately educated fucking gobshite, the natterjack toad reflected in a doorknob, the bollock-faced foghorn of ignorance, the nicotine-stained man-frog. You're not allowed to tell him that he can't have a posh, fancy posh account with your fucking bank. Because if you do that with your own bank, if you say, no, Farage, we don't want your fucking kind in here, fuck off. You get all over the front pages of the newspapers. You lose your fucking job as the woman who was in charge of Coots Bank got sacked last year because they didn't want to give Nigel Farage a fucking bank account. How dare they? How dare they not give me a bank account? They're the ones who don't have free fucking speech, mate. Why don't we hear anything about that? I just called the Prime Minister and the King of England. I called them. I'll see you next Tuesday. The world didn't fall in, and I don't think I can get prosecuted for that. Funnily enough. So when people say, oh, you can't say anything these days, you're like, yes, you can. You say loads of fucking things. I'm going to say them now. Use the C word. Seriously. Those same people who say that, especially if they're elderly, oh, you can't say anything these days. I say, what is it you want to say? Is it the C-bomb? And say the word. And they'll be like, oh, no, I don't want to say that. Okay, well, what's the problem then? You know what they want to say? They want to be horrible little dickhead racists. That's what they want to say. They want to say racist shit. And they can't. And that makes them sad. Because you say, I can't say horrible things to people. Yeah. You know what? I don't really feel that way about Keir Starmer or the King. I'm not that passionate either way. But it's nice to be able to say it if I want to. I could say Donald Trump's a cunt as well. How'd you like that, MAGA? How'd you like me using my First Amendment rights to call your horrible, podgy, orange, little fascist rape boy? How about I call him a fucking cunt? Did you like that? Did you like that, America? Yeah, did you like that, YouTube? Oh, I've been demonetized now. Oh, well, never mind. You know it's true. You know it's true. Anyway, right. Sorry for any children listening to this. We've got some newspapers to look at, I suppose, if we have to. Death of the work ethic comes from the lazy bastards who write the Daily Mail, privately educated to a man. They'll sit on the couch all day smoking weed and pontificating. With Labour at war over benefits cuts, 1 in 4 young people consider quitting workforce entirely. I'm not surprised. You work every hour God sends, and you still have enough money to cover your rent. What's the fucking point? Snow White's very awkward red carpet reunion. Okay. My ultimate head-to-toe anti-aging guide to look this good in your 60s. It's called Photoshop. We've got Daily Star here. The sun has got its pat on, and they've got a woman, and it's got 19, because it's going to be 19 degrees. It's saying Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone, by the way. We will not become victims of this. Lady Sarah's moving interview as couple faces health battles. So Chris Hoy's wife has spoken movingly of the couple's strength as they both battle ill health. Both battle, oh God, because Chris Hoy has cancer. He has terminal cancer. Lady Sarah insisted her multiple sclerosis and her Olympian husband's terminal cancer can't define her. So she has MS. That's horrible, MS. There's been some great strides made in medicine, medical breakthroughs with MS over the years, but it's a neurological condition, I think, and one of the problems that we have with America being the place where all the money goes to research stuff, they don't like anything that involves stem cell research or any kind of research on that level. I mean, they don't mind testing on animals. Animals can be, tortured to death. Beagles can be made to smoke cigarettes until they die of lung cancer, which happens. But the idea of a fetus that's been, aborted, that will never be a life form, being used for good, being used for medical research is an anathema to many Americans. But there you go. Deadline looms for asylum appeals as backlog balloons by 485%. And then we've got Polly Vermin in the Times here saying, "Help! I feel sorry for Liz Truss." I mean, Jesus Christ, that's a weird one. That is a weird one. I don't understand why my pointer's not appearing. Oh, there it is. It's not appearing now. First for football, Newcastle end 70 years of hurt. So this was the news yesterday that Newcastle beat Liverpool to win the Milk Cup, which is cool. And our first trophy they've had in 70 years. It's the 1950s. Labour War of the Worlds on disability benefits. Streeting says medics sign off too many staff, but Burnham warns cuts will trap claimants in poverty. I guess it's wait and see. And there's a picture here of the International Space Station and the two astronauts who have been rescued after months and months at sea. They've been stuck on a little raft floating in the cosmos for many, many months. They were supposed to be up there for a little weekend retreat up in the space, but unfortunately it turned into a bit of a disaster. And they've been living off coconuts and fish for the last 8 months. But British troops could be kept in Ukraine for years to come. Okay. I'm still learning. Oti Mabuse on birth, body, image, and becoming a British citizen. That's Oti from Strictly Come Dancing. And then 5 years on, how COVID changed the way we think about death. Did it? Okay. Black and white for reds all over. Haha, see what there's done. It's very funny because they're black and white, the colours of the Newcastle people, and they beat the Reds, Liverpool. Newcastle beat Liverpool to end 70-year drought. Anger grows over Starmer's £675 a month disability cuts. MPs and campaigners raise fear over major changes to benefit rules. Look, I know a lot of us on this channel are concerned about what Labour are possibly going to do, but I think that the media is ramping this up to fearmonger to a certain extent. I want to see the paper. Hopefully, the paper's going to be out this week. I want to see it. I want to see that, and then we can discuss it. Up till then, it's this toxic combination of tabloids trying to freak people out to sell fucking newspapers, but also Labour's absolutely terrible comms. They just don't have joined up thinking whatsoever. And go back over here because there's something I want to talk about. Gay society in greatest danger under Trump. Russell T. Davis has said gay society is in the greatest danger I have ever seen in the wake of election of Donald Trump as US president in November, which is very true, which is why any gay people who don't support trans rights, just fuck off. I don't want to say no offense. I want to say every offense. Take every offense at this, please, but fuck off. Like, trans people deserve our love, our sympathy, and our support because they are being scapegoated by the richest gobshites in the world. That having all the evils of the world put onto them. Everything that's bad that's ever happened is because trans people exist. And it's getting to a point now where, obviously, as trans people said from the get-go, if you go after trans people, they'll go after gay people next. And women. And they're doing that. They're doing exactly that. And minorities. Anyway, miracle drug makes cystic fibrosis vanish. A wonder drug that makes most signs of cystic fibrosis vanish has been approved in a major boost for thousands of UK sufferers. Alfretic is so advanced that trials show patients no longer exhibit cystic fibrosis symptoms in vital tests. That sounds fucking wonderful. I got a friend who suffers from cystic fibrosis and has had real trouble getting her medicine over the last year or so since the Tories decided to make it very difficult to get medicine in. There you go. No medicine will work. No medicine? Jesus Christ, I'm not reading that right, am I? No ceasefire will work. Medics on Ukraine scorn Trump's peace talks. Absolutely right about that. And then I'm super fit at 62 and how you can be too. Oh, piss off. Bloody people. Yeah, look at me, I'm amazing. You can be amazing too. If you have the money and the time, which most people don't have either at the moment. Sewage found in Britain's first river bathing spot. No surprise there. Save our rivers, says the iPaper. Labour disability benefit cuts. Rebellion grows despite number 10 concessions. So good. Keep it coming. Our Labour MPs, as we said on this channel, write to your MPs. Most Labour MPs are all right. They're all right. They're decent. They're not like Tories. They're okay. And enough of them rebel against this and say, no, we're not going to do this, the leadership will have to listen to them. Phillipson under fire for bowing to unions. Former Ofsted head accuses education secretary of dismantling the school system, if you say so. Late night snacks to quit and what to enjoy instead. Whatever. 2 for joy. Magpies snatch silverware after 56 years. Oh, 56 years for that? Okay. It was 70 years a minute ago. Who can keep up? It's like a tiny little cup, isn't it? You'd think it'd be a bit more satisfying than that. I think I've drank out of cups bigger than that. Reeves cuts green rules for drive for growth. That's not good. 4 in 10 Gen Z workers consider quitting to live on benefits. Yeah. Again, I can see why. We've created a society in which, right, okay, here's the thing. We need to have a universal basic income. That's it. So if you don't want to work, you don't have to work. You can work raising children. You can work doing the dishes. You can work cleaning your house, whatever, right? Do something else, right? But if you want to have a house, if you want to buy a house, if you want to have a car, buy a car, if you want, the extra things, bells and whistles, go on holiday, etc., you need to work. That's it. And then work becomes a choice, not a chore, not like something that you definitely have to do. People go, oh, but then who's going to clean the sewers? Yeah, people still will, because you just have to pay them more, quite rightly, for doing the thing that no one else wants to do. Instead of giving them fucking minimum wages and treating them like shit, treating people all over the country like shit, and making them desperate and causing mental health problems and causing them not to go into work because they've got mental health problems. You see the vicious circle that we've created here? It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of people who go like, oh, what do you do? I look after children. Okay, cool. Great. That's good. That's a great thing to do, but you get paid for it, right? Yeah. But if I look after my own children, I don't get paid for it. No, it's not a job. If you clean someone else's house, that's a job. But you clean your own house, it's not a job. What? This is a job. It's doing the same thing. Universal basic income. Give everyone 500 quid a week. That's it. End of. You get 500 quid a week. Do with that what you will. Just enough to survive. Streeting says docs. Oh, hang on. You need to have my screen up, don't you? Streeting docs over-diagnosed mental issues. Thanks for that, dickhead. God, he's making a lot of friends, isn't he? Isn't he? Shiny moon-faced dickhead. Where's Streeting? God, is there anyone who still likes him? Because the Tories never liked him in the first place, and now no one who voted Labour likes him. So, bloody hell. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock. I should be going in a minute. Didn't the mandatory preacher say, if you tolerate this, then your children will be next? No, they didn't. They sang it. Thank you very much to Aaron for pointing that out. Who the F does he think he is, saying mental health is being overdiagnosed? Is he a trained and qualified psychiatrist or psychologist? I don't think so. I found out the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist the other day. A psychologist cannot prescribe medicine, whereas a psychiatrist can. Fun fact. And apparently, the idea of laying down on a couch is a bit of a Hollywood myth. You don't lie down on a couch. Although, if you go and see an occupational therapist as a child, you might get to lie in a hammock, which I think is great. Because when I go to my happy place in my head, when I just need to just chill the fuck out, is a hammock on my boat dock on my island in Panama. Just, sitting there with a line in the water and listening to music, reading Hemingway. Just slightly swaying in the nice warm breeze. That's what I want. That's my happy place. That's where everyone should have, a little bit. Not all the time, because, you got to get on with life. You've got people to look after. You've got things to do. You've got places to, see and people to eat. But you just to have that little time away means so much to people. And we don't allow that anymore as a society. And people who do that and go and sit on a beach for 2 weeks, you had these people going, hey, that's not the right way of doing it. That's not the right way of doing it. And I was just like, fuck off. Give people a break. You're not seeing the real Spain, are you? You're not seeing the real Cyprus. I'm like, look, as long as they're not getting drunk and smashing the place up, if they want to just sit on the beach and chill out for 2 weeks, let them. People want to veg out in front of the telly after a hard day at work. It's fine. It's fine that people watch soap operas. I think they're shit, and I don't understand why the BBC make EastEnders. It doesn't make them any money. Soap operas are there to sell soap, guys. Put them on commercial channels. That's fine. I don't mind Hollyoaks. I don't mind Armadale. I don't mind Coronation Street. They're on commercial channels. They're there to sell soap. Here's a quick word from our sponsor. That's fine. EastEnders? And on the BBC, that blows my mind. But, some people enjoy it. Some people enjoy comedy shows that I absolutely fucking hate. I hate them because I don't find them funny. I don't understand what people are laughing at. But each to their own. Each to their own. People want to have like little pleasures in life. Let them have them. Let them fucking have them. Instead of working them to death, which is like the plot of every single tech bro oligarch. Just wants to live in a crystal palace on the top of a fucking dormant volcano in the Pacific while everyone else lives in shit and fights amongst themselves for the meager resources, the crumbs that they throw us, the trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics always remind me of, I think there was a last Smith and Jones sketch where I think he was having a dream about being in the rain or something. He wakes up, he's in bunk bed, and there's another guy in the bed above him pissing himself, like literally pissing himself in his sleep, and the piss is dripping down onto his face. That's trickle-down economics, that is. Dripping through a shitty fucking mattress, piss dripping onto your face. Going, oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Bezos. Thanks for that, Musk. Thanks for that, Fuckerman. They say thank you. Have you said thank you yet? Have you said thank you for the fucking society that the fucking tech bros have built for us? I haven't. But here's the thing, right? Before I go, the tech bros empires are built on sand because they are entirely at the mercy of us. We decide how much Bitcoin is worth. We decide how much their platforms are worth. And a concerted effort to fuck over those things, to hack them, to destroy them from within, it's a lot fucking easier than trying to bring down, I don't know, Rockefeller back in the day. Think about it. All their stuff is built on sand because it's all digital money. It's all tied in with the stocks and the prices of their particular companies. And while I have no doubt that the US government will bail out Elon Musk to the tune of trillions if they have to, it would be nice to just destroy Tesla as a company, to destroy Twitter as a thing that exists. That would be nice. Can we do that? Can we all get together and do that? Because these are playthings of the rich that are pushing us towards a very, very, very unhappy future for this planet, for our children and for our grandchildren. And it's time for us to really fucking fight back. Everyone can do a little bit because we're all tied in to this ecosystem. And we can put poison in the ecosystem. We can put viruses in the ecosystem for those motherfuckers and take it out. It's what they're doing. It's what they're doing. They're putting measles, which is a real virus, which really fucking kills people and destroys your immune system, so it makes you more vulnerable to other diseases later in life. You know, that they're bringing that back. They're bringing that virus back. So, well, you know, for real people, so let's bring viruses back for them. Yeah, there's ways and means. There's ways and means. Joanna says, I hope £500 will be £26,000 per year for every working age person. I once looked at the government spending and income and tried to make 20k work. You have to scrap pension or benefits. Okay, well, 500 quid every fortnight then. I think that's about right, isn't it? 12 grand a year, okay? So let's say 12 grand a year. So you get £1,000 every month, so 250 quid a week. All right, let's be sensible. That's enough. That's enough to pay your rent. That's enough to buy food. That's enough to pay you, well, just about to pay your lackey, right? Yeah. And then anything else you earn on top of that gets taxed from the moment you start earning it, because you only get taxed over 11,800 anyway. So yeah, give them the money. And that's it. That's the rule. You get that money, and so you build upon that. Think about the entrepreneurs that would be created, the artists, people from the working class who want to tell their stories but are prevented from doing so because every story we get told in this country is told by rich people, and it's about rich people. I mean, Ivan, thank you very much for the £20 super chat, mate. Phew. Glad we got a £30 super chat in. That's very kind of you. Thank you, sir. Because obviously this video is going to get demonetized for what I sent earlier. Streeting is wrong on mental health conditions, overdiagnosis, and wrong on trans issues, but he's given me the time of day about my autism campaigning. I refuse to feel bad for praising him and giving him credit on that. Well, no, I mean, you can give politicians credit on some things that they do that are all right, but my point stands that where Streeting seems to have gone out of his way to piss off most of the people who voted for him. But yes, that's what I believe. Electric, water, food. Yeah, Leanne Scott. I'm on a state pension plus 3 occupational pensions, but 26 £1,000 a year would be an income rise for me, says Anne. Joanna says, the other thing to take into account with UBI is reduce the tax receipts, which drops government income. I'm in support of UBI, but it is a bit complicated. Well, why would it reduce the income? Because if you get taxed, you don't get taxed on the first £12,000 that you earn. And anyone who's, obviously you're going to have to top up the tax rates for the higher earners, but that's fine because it's a choice to work or not. So yeah, I mean, you'll get that money back that you're spending out through taxing the millionaires and the gazillionaires even more, which we should be doing. We should be taxing wealth. We should be taxing land in a way that is not taxed at the moment, which is a fairer way of doing it than in a fairer way than saying, oh wow, you got lots of land because you're a farmer, you've got to pay all this tax, and you got someone who owns a little bit of land but it's worth billions because it's in the middle of a city centre, and you're like, oh well, you don't have to pay any tax at all. Like the Duke of Westminster, who died owning half of the Liverpool city centre, which he then gave to his child. 11 billion pounds that motherfucker was worth. Gave it all to his kid, didn't pay a penny in inheritance tax. Not a penny. Not a dirty penny. Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong on so many levels. Anyway, Joanna says, yeah, you don't get taxed on it, but you're not paying it out either. The other thing to take into account with UBI is reduced. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you don't get taxed on it. You're not paying it out either, says Joanna. Yeah, but I mean, it will mean that people take a punt. What we need is for money to be moving around our economy, right? That's how we make money. We need money not to be stuffed in someone's sofa or down the back of the couch. We need money moving. And what austerity did, and why it was so damaged to our economy, and why our economy hasn't grown in so long, is it took money away from people. So there was a point up till 2008 where most people had a little bit of money left over at the end of the week, and they could spend that on shit that they wanted to spend money on. Now people haven't got any money left at the end of the week, and they're having to make cutbacks. And because of those cutbacks, it means that there's less money in the system. And because there's less money in the system, our economy hasn't grown. If you want to grow an economy, give people money. Give people money. Let them become entrepreneurs. Let them become anything they want. They want to look after kids, great. Have kids, look after them. Make them really good and industrious. And you got another generation of people who, want to go into work and want to work. I want to work. I don't know anyone who doesn't want to work, to be honest with you. I mean, I know some disabled people who can't work, but they want to, if they could, they would, but they can't. So we have to look after them. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Whereas the right are like, oh, lazy disabled people. Cool. Fuckers. Anyway, John, I play with so many ideas, linear tax bans, no tax-free zone, tax banding, etc. Just trying to get maths to work. It's a fun challenge. Yeah, I mean, but it would work. It would work. Ivan says he's effing me off because he's taking me seriously on my autism campaign, and I won't be made to feel bad about it. Yeah, Ivan, I'm not making you feel bad about West Streeting, giving him credit for helping you with the autism campaign. What I'm saying is that, like, when it comes to trans rights, when it comes to saying daft shit like mental health is overdiagnosed, I mean, we can all agree that that's a fucking stupid thing to say. I think for the vast majority of people who just see the headlines and what he's saying is he's not doing himself any favors. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to make anyone else feel bad about it. I'm trying to make him feel bad about it. Don't be a transphobe. Don't be a transphobe, Wes, you shiny-faced gobshite. Poor people send money across society. Rich people stick it in hedge funds and tax havens. Absolutely, Acro Dave. The areas like I'm in Durham, in a working class area, an old pit town. People spend money in the local area. They don't spend on fucking luxury yachts in Monaco. Anyway, okay. And Billy says, Ivan, it's okay, mate. We're not bashing you. You've supported this channel so much. We respect you. Thank you for saying that, Billy, because we do. So, Ivan, thank you very much for watching. And everybody else, thank you very much for watching as well. I'm going to fuck off now and take your comments with me. Thank you very much for the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the super chats. Really, really appreciate that. If you can do me one small favor on the way out, just give us a like. Give us a like on the way out before you go. That really makes a world of difference. I'm going to leave you in the safe capable hands of James O'Brien, I guess, if you're going to listen to LBC. But he fucked me off last week by going off on one about Sangeeta Maiska, saying, oh, she could say something if she wanted to. No, dickhead. She can't. She's not saying anything because she clearly can't say anything. Do you not see that if she's quite an outspoken woman, mate. Do you think she's not saying anything to play games? Or do you think there's something you don't know about that makes it so she can't say anything? What do you think's more probable? Occam's razor. Call up James this morning and ask him. Why not? Anyway, I'll be back tonight for Stateside at 9 o'clock. So until then, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Also, Trump's a cunt.